What's up, peeps? It's your boy, it's taisworldtv. We are back in the building, y'all. So listen, I know it's late. I know it's late as hell. I understand. I got you. I understand what y'all saying. All right. Now, I had a lot of things happen. I had a lot of things going on life-wise, and then I'm doing with Buggy so many videos and stuff. So I really haven't had the time to really do this review. Um, but yeah, I'm giving y'all this review. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving y'all this review, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, Batman Cape Crusader. All right, y'all saw the title. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna do a whole review, spoilerific out here. Okay, we really need to talk about this because it's a question. Is this a good show? Does this meet or exceed or disappoint you? Does it exceed expectations? That's the thing that we're going to be talking about. Because this was hella hyped for 2-3 years now. Ever since it came out that Matt Reeves and J.J. Abrams were working on this. Okay? So, is the juice worth the squeeze, as they say? Let's talk about it. So, we're going to talk about the likes, the dislikes, and then we're going to get to my score at the end. Okay, because we're gonna answer this question. All right. So this show, as it was like talked to by the creators of this show. Oh, and Bruce Timm. I can't believe I forgot Bruce Timm. So Bruce Timm is also a part of this as well, which is great because people thought that we were gonna get like the animated series type feel for this. Some even thought like this was like a prequel to BTAS. You know what I mean? Which is not. It's its own thing. And basically what this was about was this was a year 1 or year 2 Batman. His name is getting out there in the streets. You know, everybody thinks he's a myth. And you're going on these noir adventures with him, you know. However, this is one of the things I kind of liked and disliked about the show. It's kind of like both and both in the like and dislike column. It focuses more on side characters than it does Batman himself. So it focuses on the Gordons, which is Papa Gordon and Barbara Gordon, you know. It also focuses on Renee Montoya, Flash, and Bullock. And the villains too. It kind of gives them more of a spotlight too than it does Batman. And it's a bit of a hit and miss. It just depends on who you ask. I've heard some people say that they didn't like this aspect of the show. I've heard some people say this is a refreshing take on this character and the show. So for me, it's more. I'm more mixed. There are some times that I do like it in certain episodes. There are some that I don't. You know, but my thing of it is, if your show is about Batman, then it needs to be about Batman. If you wanted to put the focus on other characters, you should have named this something else. Because yes, you do get Batman, you do see things with him, yes, and he does have a character arc as well as Alfred, but I'm gonna get to that. But it's not as much as you would think, like in BTAS or the New Adventures, etc., etc. Yeah, so we're gonna get to the dislikes first, like I said. So one of the dislikes I had for this show was, or is, I didn't care about making Penguin a woman. I didn't care, and you can see that in the reactions. Go check it out. I didn't care whatsoever, right? Well, it was disappointing to me because it didn't add to the story at all. It really didn't. It just seemed like it was just a political thing, and based on what Bruce Timm said in one interview, because I believe he said something like, "There's not enough Batman villains that are women, and they need to get more of a spotlight," which is why there's more women villains in this show than men are in this iteration or in this first season, which is kind of crazy to me because Talia, Al Ghul, Magpie, Harley Quinn, which she's in here too. Red Claw, like like there's a plethora of female Batman villains in here in Batman's Rose Gallery period that y'all could have took. And to say something like that is kind of crazy. It I digress. Like I said, it and the first episode wasn't so great for me because I'm gonna be honest with you. I was starting not to like uh the show until we got to like episode 3 and on. You know what I mean? It was really like a slow build, and I felt like episode 1 was the weakest. I felt like they should have took episode 1 and put it somewhere else, like maybe in the middle. Maybe episode 1 should have been episode 5. Yeah, they should have switched. I don't know. It's just, and that just wasn't my favorite episode. And again, they just disappointed me with having a female Cobblepot, and y'all not gonna add anything to this character. Also, this is like I said, this is spoilers, guys. So, if you haven't watched the show, go back and watch it, and then come back here, okay? Uh, I didn't like that they got rid of Harvey, aka Two-Face. I didn't like that they did that. At first, I did because it was something different, something to shock us. You know what I'm saying? And it also shows that they're willing to take risk, which is pretty good. However, I didn't like it my second time watching it just because y'all didn't have time to really develop him like that. You know what I mean? Because the way, especially when we first see him in the first, I think he's in the first episode or the second episode, you see him. And his character arc is kind of like okay until you really find out what he's been doing. But yeah, and then you could have really done a lot of interesting things with his arc, especially with Batman. And that's the thing of why Two-Face is such a great villain for Batman, is because it's personal. You know what I mean? They did it kind of here, but again, they could have done a lot more with him, Now, if it changes Batman to where how he deals with criminals now because of how he did with Harvey, because it was a little bit messed up. And it was to the point where even Alfred called him out. He was like, bro, you should not have tried to use him to get information. Like, you can't do that to people. Especially somebody that literally just got acid put on their face, So I hope they do that, and if that's how they're gonna do it, cool. But I feel like that was a missed opportunity, in my opinion. And then I think I said this before, but I think Batman getting the back seat to his own show is kind of like, I wasn't feeling it because this is Batman. This ain't Gotham Central. This is Batman. You know what I mean? So I kind of wish they would have just kept it that way like they did in the animated series. Yeah, the villains got a little bit of screen time, but it wasn't like compared to Batman. And it depended on what episode as well. So hopefully in the second season they kind of changed that, but we'll see. Okay, so that was the negatives that I had. So let's get into the positives of this show. I really did like that it really kept to the noir style that they been saying that it was when it was first announced, because I like the detective work that they do here, especially with Batman, Renee Montoya, and especially with those two characters. I like that aspect of it. We got it in in Batman the Animated Series, and we got it here too, even more so, which was pretty cool. The opening and closing of the show, like the opening credits and the closing credits, were pretty cool. Even in the opening, I like where they showed like a place that they were gonna go to when you get to that part of the episode. So that was pretty dope. Also, I kind of like how it was cool that they kept everything in that the movie, the show was set in the 1920s. I felt like that was pretty cool. Especially when you didn't really get that in Batman the Animated Series. You didn't know what time period it was in, because when you looked at the first half, like the first couple of seasons, it was in seemingly the 1930s or so. But then when you get to the New Adventures, it seemed like it was like in early 2000s. So I like that they really, they got their mindset on what time period it is. I thought that was really dope. Also, they don't shy away from getting more violent on this show because we've seen a lot of catch up on this show. I can't really say, what I want to say because of YouTube, but they got a lot of catch up here like that. You know what I'm saying? And Batman gets a little rougher in this one, and I'm here for it. There's a scene where Batman uses his car to hit a couple of dudes. Crazy work. But that's pretty cool because even ETAS, even that had like moments, but it's a kids show, so you really can't show certain things until unless you're in like a network like this, like Prime, where you can actually do that. So that was pretty good. Also, they continue the theme of rich versus poor in this show, like they do in the Batman, and it makes sense because Matt Reeves is a part of this, so that's probably his narrative when he along with Bruce Timm and J.J. Abrams made this show. So I liked it. It was cool. But it's like for me, it was just like we've seen this already. We've seen this in the Batman. They were already talking about this. What else you got? But I did enjoy it for what it is. I just hope next season they focus on more of the corruption and crime, which it seems like that's what they're doing. Because we got the same thing with the Batman. You know what I mean? We just got more of the fantastical villains, which is pretty cool. Also, I really like that we have more obscure villains in Batman's rogues gallery that we got introduced to in this show. Like Automatopoeia, he was mad cool. The OG Clayface, for those of you that don't know, not Matt Hagen or Basil Carlo. This is this is Basil Carlo. I'm sorry. That he is the OG one before we got Matt Hagen. So I'm glad we got him. That was pretty cool. And a lot of it was just gangsters, that Batman was dealing with, which is pretty cool. And then you got, other ones like that weird goth girl from in the Nocturne episode. That was dope and pretty creepy too. And it does go into the fantastical and even the supernatural more than I thought we were gonna get. Oh, Gentleman Ghost, we got him too. And we got the living actual ghost. So are we gonna get like more characters like Superman and Flash, like Wonder Woman? Like, are we gonna get more of those characters since they introduced supernatural elements to it? I don't know. Also, Jim Corrigan is in this show. So are we gonna get Spectre? I don't know. And that's the thing I really like about this show. Like they set certain Easter eggs so that it has a potential to become like the new animated and the new Timverse, if you will. We might be getting that. I don't know. We'll see. Oh yeah, and I think a big thing about this that I did like, even though it was really short, but I really did like that we get it. The Bruce and Alfred dynamic. We never really got it like this, where when Batman looks at Alfred as just a tool, and even calls him Pennyworth, doesn't call him Alfred. And I like the fact that they kind of worked up until he said Alfred in the last episode of the season. I really thought that was really cool, and that's something that we've never really seen before because Bruce has always looked to Alfred as like a father figure, a mentor. You know what I'm saying? But in this one, and I feel like this Batman, Bruce was more cold than I've seen him in. Because even if you look at Batman the Animated Series, that Batman has his ways, but he was still more hopeful. This one, he acts more like New Adventures Batman. You know what I mean? He acts like that still. And I thought that was an interesting aspect. So, will he become the Batman we do know him to be? Like, more hopeful? Because I think that's the kind of thing that we're getting in this show than we got in the Batman, where that Bruce was just wanted to be Batman. He just wanted to lay hands on people. That's it. Aggressively. But at the end of the movie, he's like, nah, this isn't working. I have to become a symbol of something, a symbol of hope. You know what I mean? So, is that what we're gonna get here? And if that's so, are we gonna get like an upgrade to his costume? Are we gonna get the Jim Lee era where he got the gray and blue? Or is he gonna rock that at some point? I think that would be cool, you know, to show the difference of his evolution throughout the series. So, like every season, he'll probably change his fit. I feel like that'd be pretty dope too, honestly. You know, I think everybody did a great job, voice actor wise. I feel like everybody did a good job for the most part. But my thing was, who was gonna do that good job playing Batman? And I believe his name is Hamish Linklater. I think that's how you say it. He was the voice for Batman for this season, and I think he did a good job. You know, listen, R.I.P. to the GOAT, Kevin Conroy. He's gonna be the only Batman for me. You know what I mean? He is the definitive Batman voice. Nobody's gonna take over. Nobody's gonna be better than him. Honestly, it's not gonna happen. I mean, don't. Thank you, Jason O'Mara. Thank you, Bruce Greenwood, Jensen Ackles. Like, thank you guys, and Reno Romano. You know, there's been other Batman voices that I can't really remember in my head right now. Oh, Frank Welker. Oh, that's a great one too. But none of them really compared to Kevin Conroy for me. You know, but I feel like Hamish really did a good job with this role. He really did try to differentiate Bruce from Batman, and I feel like that you gotta do that because he's not a different person per se, but he's not really Bruce. He's Batman, you know. So of course there would be two different voices, and that's what Conroy did when he did Batman. Even the way when he explained it in interviews, you see like he had really immense respect for this role and really did a great job separating the voices. So I gotta give it to Hamish for that. You know, again, not like Kevin Conroy, but I think he still did a great job with what he had, and everybody else did a good job too. Also, I really did like the Easter eggs in this show. There's an episode where you get to see all the Robins too, like Dick, Jason, Carrie Kelly. I think that's all we saw because I didn't see Tim. So is that gonna go anywhere? Like, are we gonna see all of them become Robins at some point? That'd be crazy if that's the case. I don't know. But we saw some Easter eggs. We saw Deadshot in here too. Not in his usual fit. You know, we saw him in regular gangster clothes. Yeah, but like I said, Jim Corrigan, we saw him too. So yeah, man, like I wonder if these are gonna mean anything going forward. And I hope we find the answer to that in season 2. Maybe, I don't know. Also, I think I like this. I'm not sure yet, but I think I'm gonna put this in a like column. The relationship that you would see with Batman and Gordon, Jim Gordon, we see that more with Barbara in Batman. And I wonder if they're gonna keep it that way. Until we get that relationship with Jim Gordon and Batman. So I don't know. I just hope it doesn't lead into something romantic. I hope it doesn't get into that because people ain't been feeling that. And for whatever reason, Mr. Tim been pushing that for years. I don't know why. But yeah, let's not do that here. You know what I'm saying? So overall, answering the question, I am a little bit disappointed. It's just like a tiny bit, because there were some things I didn't like I said in this video. But this show did do a lot of things that I did like overall. And I think they'll probably fix those problems next season. We'll see. But overall, I did like this show. And if I had to give it a score, I'd probably give it an 8.5 out of 10. I think I'm comfortable with saying that. But guys, what did you think about this show? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know. And guys, I am so sorry for the wait. I'm so sorry about that. The other reviews that I have to do, I have to do X-Men 97 as well. So I will be doing that for you guys, okay? Just give me a little bit and I got you. All right, y'all. We're gonna get out of here. I love you guys so much. Thank you for the support. Deuces. Be safe. Have a good one. And I'll see you in the next one.